can't do this every morning. It's way too corny.
It's just till he's 18. Smile.
Friends, you must have seen the professor's planning a money heist. But today, I am going to tell the story of a man whose planning will make you forget even the professor. This was not a thief or a gangster. Rather, an ordinary teacher who made such a master plan to get his wife out of jail that the police, doctors, and the entire system kept dancing to his tunes. He made fake reports, cut phone lines, misled the police, and played every move as if life were a game of chess. Because for him, this was not a theft. This was the final gamble of love. The story starts with a dark, silent night when a college teacher named John Brennan is driving his car very nervously at high speed. An injured drug dealer, whom he shot, is lying on the back seat of his car. Now the question is, to what extent can a simple college teacher go to break out of jail and help his wife escape? You will understand the answer only when you hear his genius plan, hearing which the police themselves were stunned. The story is from 3 years ago when John was living a happy life in his beautiful house with his wife Laura and son Luke. Laura had diabetes. Therefore, like every morning, she was taking her insulin injection. But just then her sight fell on a small blood stain on her jacket. She immediately ran towards the sink to wash it. But before she could understand anything, the door opened loudly and the police entered and arrested Laura on the charge of murder without asking anything. Later, the court found Laura guilty and sentenced her to life imprisonment. But even now, there was no solid evidence that could force the police to investigate again. In fact, all existing evidence was against Laura. Like a colleague from her office had seen her leaving the scene of the murder, bloodstains were found on her jacket, and her fingerprints were on the weapon with which the murder was committed. Seeing all this, the lawyer told John clearly, after which John made up his mind and said directly that she will definitely come out of jail no matter what happens. After which he went to meet Laura and told her the things the lawyer had said. There were tears in John's eyes, and seeing them, Laura understood everything. Despair appeared on her face. She started crying bitterly, as if the last ray of hope inside her had also been extinguished. But fate was testing John. That night he received news that Laura had been suddenly admitted to the hospital. He reached there without wasting a moment, but the hospital staff did not allow him to meet Laura. John argued a lot with the doctor, and the police picked a fight. Finally, he got permission to meet for a short while. When he went inside, he saw that Laura was tied to the bed with handcuffs and a bandage was tied on her wrist. John understood everything in just one glance. Laura had perhaps given up on life. At that very moment, something broke inside John, and he swore to himself that now, even if the world is against him, he will definitely get Laura out of jail. Now John started preparation for his mission. He started reading every book written on escaping from jail. He started collecting every small and big piece of information. Then he went to meet a person named Damon who had escaped from jail 7 times so far. Damon explained to him that if he really wants to escape, he will have to keep his mind open. He will have to find such nuances in the daily life of the jail through which a crack can be made in the system, and most importantly, decide your destination in advance. A place where fewer people go, there are no tourists, and the way is far from bus, train, or airport. Because when the system falls, the search starts from there first. Apart from this, he will have to get such fake documents made that no one can easily recognize, and will have to escape from some other state. The most important thing is to keep all the money in cash so that his location cannot be traced through transactions. This meant that he would have to collect enough cash to last for about 5 years, because by then the case would cool down a bit. The most difficult part of this plan was crossing the bridges of Pittsburgh City, because after September 11th, the police there had learned to seal the whole city in just 15 minutes. Apart from this, he would have to maintain distance from his parents and friends forever, and if needed, he might even have to take someone's life. Hearing all this, John returned home, and then he started calculating his plan by sticking maps and photos on a wall. Whenever he went to meet Laura in jail, he would note the small nuances there very carefully. He saw that there was a hole in the elevator, and on the other side some employees had come to fix the roof leakage. Along with this, he also noted which trucks stopped there every day. Now John had gone so deep into this plan that even while teaching in college, he would keep checking these nuances on his laptop. Finally, he decided that he should sell his house because he needed a lot of money for this plan. Now he had to get fake documents made, for which he started going to a dangerous neighborhood of the city. There he started buying OxyContin from a dealer, and in the course of conversation, asked him for the address of a fake passport maker. After many attempts, he found a man who said if you really want a passport, go to a bar and meet a dealer, but here John was cheated. As soon as he reached there, some goons attacked him and snatched all his money. A man named Mike sitting in the same bar saw all this with his own eyes. A few days later, John returned to the same neighborhood again, but this time 2 bikes were following him. Somehow he had just reached his house when the doorbell rang. John opened the door and the same Mike was standing in front. Mike said, "I can make a fake passport for you." John gave him some photos and advance money and said in a strict tone, "Don't come back to my house after today. I will take the passport from some other place." Mike agreed, but while leaving said if I don't reach there at the fixed time, then leave from there quietly without saying anything. After this, we see that John gets busy in the preparation of the next step of his plan. He buys a gun from a shop and learns to fire the gun from the shopkeeper. The next day, he reaches the location told by Mike to take the passport. After waiting for a long time, he realizes Mike is late, but still he did not go, kept sitting there. After a while, a car passes from there, and just then Mike arrives. Mike said angrily, "You are still sitting here." The car that just went was of a policeman. Then handing over the fake documents to John, he said, "You have become crazy after this work, John, and this very madness will one day make you commit a heavy mistake." Anyway, after this we see that John learned to make a bump key, meaning such a key that could open any lock. He made that key himself by looking at the internet and decided that next time when he goes to jail he will use it. The day he reached the jail, he put that bump key along with his other keys in the metal detector, and as soon as he moved ahead of the detector, he quietly picked up the key before the police could see. Walking with other people, John deliberately stayed at the very back. Getting a chance, he tried to put the key in the elevator, but unfortunately, the key broke and half of it got stuck inside the lock. John at that very moment threw the other part present in his hand and stood as if nothing had happened. Within a few moments, a policeman reached there and saw the broken key. Just then, interrogation of all the jail visitors started. When John's turn came, he looked at the security camera footage and said cleverly, "I am not even visible in this. This tall man, right? I was standing behind him." Hearing this, the officer had some suspicion about him, but action cannot be taken just on the basis of suspicion. Therefore, they let John go. As soon as John came out of the jail gate, his condition worsened due to nervousness. Detective Quinnen saw all this, and now he also started suspecting John. Since then, Quinnen started keeping an eye on John secretly, but John was completely unaware of this. He was busy selling his house items slowly, and whenever his brother came to meet, John would sit hiding so that no one could understand his situation. One day in the afternoon, John took his son Luke to the park, where the mother of Luke's friend Carrie invited him to come to Carrie's birthday party. But John's mind was now lost in some other world. He had again gotten busy in the preparation of his plan. During this, he saw a new medical van stopping outside the jail, and at that very moment, a great idea came to his mind. Now he was going to execute his plan through this van. He researched Lara's diabetes. Then by following that van for many days, he found out the exact time of its coming and going. Apart from this, he learned from the internet how a car lock can be opened with the help of a tennis ball. The next day, he adopted the same method, opened the medical van door with a tennis ball, and took photos of Lara's medical reports from inside. Later, he prepared a fake report in which it was shown that Lara's health is very bad. A few days later, when John reached to meet Lara, Lara gave him a piece of bad news. After 3 days, she was going to be transferred to an even stricter jail. Hearing this, the ground slipped from under John's feet. Now he had only 3 days to complete his plan. The biggest problem was that his house was not sold yet, and he did not have the money with which the escape could be arranged. Finally, John picked up his gun and set out with the intention of robbing a bank. But even after reaching there, he could not stop himself. His hands started shaking, and he could not gather courage. Stood outside the bank for some time, then returned quietly. Later, he again reached the jail to meet Lara and said that he would appeal against her being sent to another jail. Hearing this, Lara was filled with anger because John was still not ready to accept the reality. Lara said, "You are living in a dream, John. You think that I can be released from here, but the reality is that this will never happen." Finally, to stop John, Lara confessed with tearful eyes that she had committed the murder. She wanted John to move forward in his life and start a new beginning with someone else. But John still did not believe her. He went to meet Lara again, this time with an even stronger determination. He said to Lara, "Don't lose heart. I will definitely get you out of here." Now John had to arrange money somehow. As night fell, he returned to the same dangerous neighborhood. There he followed a dealer and reached his boss's house. Getting a chance, John suddenly caught the dealer and pushed him and entered inside the house. During this, the house dog bit his leg, but John pointed the gun and said while scaring them, Alex locked the dog in the room. Right now? Now when John demanded money from them, they gave him all the money kept in their pockets out of fear. Alex said with a cold laugh, "You don't have the courage to kill anyone. You couldn't even fire a bullet at the dog." But just then John poured a bottle of whiskey on the floor and set it on fire with a spark. Seeing the flames of fire, the atmosphere of the room was filled with fear and tension. Alex got panicked and said there is a child in the house. He ran upwards to save the child, but John also immediately made the dealer his shield and stepped behind him. In fact, this very move came in handy for John because Alex had come upstairs only to get a gun. As soon as he fired at John, the bullet hit the dealer directly. Now Alex tried to aim again, but before he could pull the trigger, John shot him in one stroke. After which John searched every room of the house, and soon he found a bag full of money. While running away, his sight fell. The dealer was still alive, lying on the floor, groaning in pain and asking for help. From here the story begins when John was taking that badly injured dealer in his car. On the way, his car's tail light broke. John thought about taking him to the hospital, but before he could do anything, the dealer died in the car itself. Finally, John left his body at a bus stop and then, according to his plan, went to a parking lot and started cutting the fence. Over there, fire had broken out in Alex's house, and in a while, the police reached the spot. They found bloodstains on the floor there and, as evidence, the broken tail light of the car as well. Here John, after finishing the work, went to spend the night at his parents' house. When his father picked up his bag, his sight fell on the plane tickets kept inside, and at that very moment, he understood what John was going to do. Before leaving the next morning, John told Luke to hug his grandparents because he knew this would be their last meeting. In the end, John's father also hugged him tightly and said goodbye with a heavy heart. Finally, that day had arrived today. John was going to execute his plan. He packed all the stuff and tore all his maps and papers and put them in 2 different garbage bags. After this, John reached the medicine center and, without wasting time, cut the phone lines there. Then he quietly entered a van and changed Lara's blood samples. Now, in place of the real report, his prepared fake report was kept. After this, John dropped Luke for his friend Carrie's birthday party. While leaving, he said to Carrie's mother, "If I get a bit late in coming, then there is his grandparents' number in Luke's pocket." On the other side, in the hospital, when the doctors saw the blood report, they felt something was wrong and they tried to call the lab, but the phone line was down. Now, without waiting, they admitted Lara to the hospital on the basis of these reports. Here the police got the car model from the broken tail light. After some more investigation, all the evidence started pointing towards John. As soon as they reached John's house, they found that wall on which John had made his entire planning and maps. Meanwhile, detectives got news that Lara is being admitted to the hospital. Now they became fully suspicious of John's intentions, and they also decided to reach the hospital as soon as possible. But John had reached before them. He entered Lara's room wearing a doctor's coat. Then he threatened the policeman with a gun and got Lara's handcuffs open. After that, he tied those policemen to chairs. But just then Lara refused to escape with John. At this, John got very furious. He said in anger, "Then call your son. Tell him that today his parents will not come back alive." Hearing this, Lara understood how dangerous the situation had become. She realized that if she doesn't run now, then John can really kill anyone. Finally, Lara quickly wore the clothes given by John. But just then a nurse saw them. Both immediately entered the elevator. Over there, the nurse had called the security by shouting loudly. Meanwhile, John and Lara quickly took off their white coats and moved straight towards the lobby, but detectives were already standing there in ambush. Seeing them, John immediately pressed the button for another floor, and detectives started following them by going down the stairs. As soon as the elevator door opened, John cleverly threw both their coats near the stairs and himself entered the elevator again. Seeing the coats, detectives thought that John and Lara had run through the stairs towards the parking lot. Therefore, they also immediately ran there. But the reality was that John and Lara had come back down to the lobby and in a few moments went out through the main door. Right after crossing the road, John changed his jacket and got lost in a crowd of fans of a baseball team. That crowd was going towards the station, and in the middle of this crowd, John and Lara quietly boarded the train. But the trouble was still not over. John knew that at the next station the police would be waiting for them. Therefore, suddenly, he pulled the emergency brake of the train. As soon as the train stopped, both jumped down and saw that they were exactly in front of the same parking lot where John had come a few days ago. There, that hole in the fence now came in handy for them. Both reached inside through that way, where John's car was already standing ready. Now John drove the car at full speed without wasting time. They succeeded in crossing the first bridge in time. Now the next step was to pick up Luke. But here John made a small mistake. When he reached Carrie's house, he found out that the party was at the zoo and they all had not returned yet. Over on the other side, the police were searching in John's neighborhood, and soon they found the papers of John's entire planning in the garbage bags. Here John increased the speed of the car and set out towards the zoo. But at the last moment, he changed the road. He said to Lara, "If we are late now, then all the roads will be closed and we will not be able to take Luke." Then he said slowly, "We will have to leave him here. His grandparents will take care of him." But Lara was not at all ready to live without her son. Suddenly, she opened the car door and put her head out. At that same time, a truck was coming fast from the front. Collision was just a moment away. But at the last moment, John turned the car and both had a narrow escape. John immediately stopped the car and said to Lara that she was right. He too cannot live without his son. Finally, he decided he will go back. Both reached the zoo directly, took Luke with them, and now there was only one destination in front of them, to cross that checkpost somehow. Then suddenly a great idea came to John's mind. He reached the train station directly and offered a lift to an elderly uncle and aunt standing there. Then those three set out towards the checkpost riding in the car. There the guards were searching for a car with a young husband-wife and their child. But in John's car, there were also two elderly passengers, so no one had even a bit of doubt. The guards saw the car only for a glance and then let them go ahead without checking. John took a deep breath of relief. After reaching some distance, he dropped the uncle and aunt in a safe city, and then he moved straight towards the Canadian airport. Over there, preparations to show their photos like fugitives on TV channels were done. But fate was with John today. Their passports had already been checked, and at that exact time, the security guard's duty changed. The new guard did not know at all that John and Lara had already gone inside. Over there at John's house, when the police started joining the papers thrown in the garbage, they found a photo of Haiti country among them. That was it. They immediately ordered to stop all flights going to Haiti. But this was John's real game, because after a while Quinnen understood that they had found only half the papers of the plan. John had deliberately kept the other half missing so that the police would wander in the wrong direction. In reality, the clue of Haiti was just a move so that as long as the police remained stuck there, John, Lara, and their son Luke could reach a safe place. And the same happened. Over there the police kept searching in Haiti, while here John, Lara, and Luke had boarded the flight to Venezuela. A few days later we see that the three have started a new life in Caracas City, where now there was neither police nor danger, only love and peace. So can you also love someone as much as John loved Lara? Do tell in the comments. See you in the next video.